Storm Tracker 13 forecast first. Sponsored by George Sink Injury Lawyers.
A nice cool down across the area today thanks to the clouds and the showers and thunderstorms. Viper 13 real-time radar right now showing pockets of heavy rain across Marion County into northern Horry County and some scattered showers across the PD as well. Not seeing any bad weather out there, but these are slow-moving, soaking thunderstorms, so some areas are going to see a lot of rain out of these over the next couple of hours. Temperatures right now not too bad. We're in the 80s with that cloudy skies and the scattered showers and thunderstorms. A few areas where it is raining in the 70s right now. It is going to stay warm and muggy tonight with a few more showers, and that rain chance back again tomorrow. I'll have a look at how long we're going to see this wet weather coming up.
Coverage you can count on at 5 starts now.
Right now on News 13 at 5, how local lawmakers are reacting to the shocking death of South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham.
And we'll hear from a professor at Coastal Carolina University on how Graham's death has impacted the political landscape.
A workaholic politician. That is how President Trump is remembering Senator Lindsey Graham, who passed away over the weekend. I'm News13 Bonsu on Capitol Hill with tributes from members of Congress and who will fill the late senator's seat.
Thanks for joining us for News 13 at 5. I'm Adriana Lawrence.
And I'm Annette Pegler. We begin tonight at 5 with continuing coverage of the death of South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham.
And News 13 has live team coverage on how his death has affected the political landscape locally and regionally. We'll hear from News 13's Morgan Baker and Gabby Jonas in just a few minutes.
But first, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham is being remembered as both a staunch supporter of President Trump and as someone who would reach across the aisle.
Now there's word on who will replace the late foreign policy hawk in the Senate, at least temporarily. Nana Senyo Bonsu has details from Capitol Hill.
The flag at the South Carolina State House flew at half-staff Monday ahead of an announcement about who will fill Senator Lindsey Graham's Senate seat.
It's my honor to ask his little sister, Darlene Graham, to finish his work for him now.
President Trump said Monday that he recommended that Graham's sister, Darlene, fill the rest of Graham's term.
Lindsey has always been there for me, and now I will be there for him.
The longtime senator was up for re-election this fall, and a special Republican primary will be held next month to determine who will replace Graham on the ballot.
He was a friend to so many of us on both sides of the aisle. And I know that I'm not the only one who finds it difficult to imagine the Senate without Lindsey Graham.
A foreign policy hawk, Graham had returned from Ukraine on Friday, a day before he died. The preliminary cause, a tear in the main artery from the heart. Graham was working on a bipartisan Russian sanctions bill when he died. It was part of an effort to put more pressure on Moscow to end the war with Ukraine.
No one can truly replace him.
The bill's co-sponsor, Democrat Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, said he's determined to pass the Russia sanctions bill in Graham's honor.
In his memory, I hope my colleagues on both sides of the aisle will unite behind this bill.
Outside his office at the Capitol Monday, a wreath was laid and people left their condolences to the South Carolina senator. Nana Bonsu, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
On Friday, the two senators told CBS News that the latest draft of the Russian sanctions bill received White House approval.
Well, within the last hour, we heard from Graham's sister, interim Senator Darlene Graham Nordone, who will fill the remainder of his term. As you saw live right here on News 13, she was introduced by Governor Henry McMaster just a short time ago. Graham took legal guardianship of his sister when he was just 22 and she was 13 after both of their parents died. Governor McMaster talked about Graham's impact, and Nordone spoke as well.
Lindsey Graham recognized the seriousness of his work, but also the value of humor and a lighthearted spirit. Lindsey Graham understood the hopes, dreams, and needs of his state and delivered for his state every time.
Now to Lindsey, I miss you more than I can even put into words. But I'm going to do this. I got it. Thank you.
And Nordone has been active over the years supporting Graham's political goals. The term runs until January. Well, new at 5, Horry County's top prosecutor is remembering Senator Graham and his impacts on the Grand Strand and beyond.
And News 13's Gabby Jonas joins us live in the studio. And Gabby, what did 15th Circuit Solicitor Jimmy Richardson say about Graham's impact?
Now, Richardson says Graham was the kind of senator who would always get the job done promptly. He says a few years ago, Graham has been able to receive funding in a matter of minutes after speaking to him on the phone about loan forgiveness for prosecutors across the state. He says this was a huge help in the criminal justice system locally. And he says out of all of the other 49 states, he thinks that Senator Graham held some of the most power when it came to big decisions on a state and national level. He says Graham was very in tune with local problems and was able to face them head on while still tending to foreign policy at the same time.
Unless you had somebody with that kind of power,
It's okay.
you know, a problem is just going to continue to be a problem to be fussed about, but he could really make it happen. And I think nationally, he's going to be known for, you know, his efforts with other countries. But locally, it's going to be much more about constituent services. And he was really, really good at that.
Now, Richardson says it would be unfair to expect anybody to step into Graham's role as senator easily, having built decades worth of trust locally, nationally, and internationally. And coming up at 6, hear more from Richardson on how Graham's impact on the criminal justice system. Live in the studio, Gabby Jonas, News 13.
Gabby, thank you. New tonight, we're looking into how Senator Graham's death impacts the political landscape in the U.S. A local political science professor spoke to News 13 today to discuss what's next.
News 13's Morgan Baker is live in our newsroom tonight. And Morgan, you spoke with a professor from Coastal Carolina University. What did he say?
Annette, Adriana, I spoke with Michael Norris, who says Senator Graham's death is a blow for South Carolina, as Graham had amassed a large amount of experience and influence, extremely beneficial to the state. Norris says Graham, who served in Congress for more than 3 decades, was really good at, quote, bringing home the bacon to South Carolina and helping to secure funds for numerous projects in the state, including the future pedestrian bridge over Highway 544 at CCU. He says it's unlikely that Graham's death will create a chance for more Democratic influence in the state, but could potentially cause some in-party fighting among Republicans. Governor Henry McMaster, within the hour, appointed Graham's sister, Darlene Graham Nordone, to temporarily fill the seat until a new senator is elected. I spoke with Norris before the governor's appointment, but after President Trump announced his support for Graham's sister.
He can say whoever he wants to. Whoever is chosen will not fly in the face of who he wants, so it's probably best for him to just let Governor McMaster do his thing. Everybody will be fine.
At 6, I'll have more from Norris on what Graham's death means for South Carolina politics and how it could stand to impact federal foreign policy. Reporting live in the newsroom, Morgan Baker, News 13.
All right, Morgan, thank you. And to read much more about Graham's legacy and what local politicians had to say about his death, head on over to our website, WBTW.com.
A 17-year-old Florence County teen is dead after a weekend shooting. The coroner's office says the shooting happened at about midnight in the area of the Glendale subdivision and Battery Park off of McCurdy Road that resulted in the death of Zylan Dixon. Authorities have not released any additional details about the shooting, which remains under investigation.
The South Carolina Highway Patrol says one person has died after an early morning crash on Highway 707 involving a pedestrian. Horry County Fire Rescue says it happened just before 4 a.m. on Highway 707 and Circle Lane. Highway Patrol and the HCFR are investigating a 2008 Lexus sedan that was driving north on Highway 707 when it hit the pedestrian who was walking in the road. According to SCHP, the pedestrian died at that scene.
In North Carolina, a man is facing a DWI charge after a party bus crashed into a car, a utility pole, and then plowed into a 100-year-old home in a historic neighborhood near downtown Raleigh. Now, police say the man driving the bus, who was the only occupant at the time, was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. No one else was injured in the wreck a block north of East Peace Street, according to the police. The damaged home was marked unsafe for occupancy after the crash, according to the Raleigh Fire Department.
News 13 on-time traffic, sponsored by Joy Law Firm. Just call Joy.
And traffic not too bad right now on 501 between CCU and Carolina Forest. Just the occasional slowdown at the traffic lights. No problems right now on 544. Drive times along the Grand Strand on 501 from Carolina Forest to CCU. That'll take 18 minutes. 17 in both directions along the Grand Strand is moving at or a little bit slower than normal. Florence area looking okay. No issues in town right now. I-95 moving along nicely. Currently on 95 from TV Road to 76. That'll take 9 minutes. Palmetto from 5 Points to Irby Street will take 5 minutes. And 52 from Palmetto to I-95 will take 7 minutes.
Frank, thanks. The United States and Iran both say they have control over the Strait of Hormuz. In a social media post, President Trump says the Strait of Hormuz is open to all countries except Iran and its customers. He adds that the U.S. will collect a 20% security reimbursement on all cargo shipped through the crucial waterway. The demand counters what President Trump wanted earlier this year.
Well, we want it open. We want it free. We don't want tolls.
The United Nations agency responsible for the safety of international shipping says there is no legal basis to collect tolls for passing through a strait. The 20% cost on all goods shipped through the strait would likely cause the oil and gas to jump. The current national average for a gallon of gas is $3.87, nearly $1 more before the war started.
Well, terrifying video from Yellowstone National Park where a bison chased a 65-year-old man through the trees. And we want to warn you, you may find the footage disturbing. Photographer Mike McLeod was camping in Yellowstone National Park on Friday when his wife saw a bull bison approach. He grabbed his camera and started shooting. McLeod says the man was lying on the ground at the mercy of the bison. That's when he put down his camera and went to help. This is the second documented bison attack in the park this year. Park officials say bison will defend their space when they feel threatened.
And showers and thunderstorms across the area today, keeping temperatures a lot cooler than what we saw last week. I'll have a look at how long this rain chance will last coming up.